There was a man who stopped talking to his mother when he got rich. He also moved to live very far from her, so he wouldn't see her. His mother tried to call him every day, but he never answered. One day, he entered a flower shop. He wanted to buy some flowers to put as a decoration in his house. He bought them, and when he walked out of the store, he saw a little girl crying. "What happened?" he asked. "I need to buy flowers for my mother, but I only have $1, she replied. The man then bought her the flowers, and she asked, "I don't have anyone to take me to my mother. Can you please take me?" The man agreed, and the little girl started directing him to a graveyard. The little girl took the flowers and put them next to a grave and said, "I got some flowers for you, Mom." The man was in tears. He quickly remembered his mother. He went back to the flower shop, bought his mother flowers, and drove 300 miles to her. He knocked on the door, and when his mother opened it, he just hugged her and said, "I will never leave you again. I love you, Mom." The boy came to a new school, and the other students bullied him and hated him every day. The boy sat alone, and during every lesson, the other students laughed at him while the teacher ignored their behavior and did not defend the boy. One day, the teacher said, "I'm going to give you a task. Whoever solves it, I will give $10,000. After some time, the teacher asked, "Did anyone manage to solve the task?" "We all solved it," they replied. The teacher invited each student to show their solutions on the board. After a while, the teacher said, "None of these solutions are correct." The teacher looked at the boy and said, "Only you are left. Show us your solution." The boy was scared and didn't want to go up. The other students laughed and shouted, "He can't even talk. How can he solve this?" Ashamed, the boy started writing. After a few minutes, the teacher smiled and said, "This is correct." The other students were shocked. The teacher stood in front of the whole class and screamed, "He who laughs last laughs loudest." One day at the funeral of a wealthy man, his 3 sons and their stepbrother were present. The brothers hated their stepbrother, and their father, the only one who loved him, was dead. Angry and impatient, they shouted at the priest, "We have more important things to attend to." The priest asked, "What's more important than this?" "Our father's will and his property," they replied. Once the funeral was over, they rushed to their father's mansion. Before entering, their lawyer handed them loaves of bread. "Your father wanted to have his last favorite meal with his children. Please grant him this final wish," the lawyer said. "This is nonsense. We're not here for food," they angrily said, handing the 3 boxes of bread to their stepbrother. "Take this. That's all you can have from our father," they shouted, pushing him out of the house. A few minutes later, the lawyer read the will. "My children, I know you have foolishly given away your food to your stepbrother. He alone cared to eat with me while you abandoned me. Those were not just boxes of food. They contained my assets and money." The brothers were shocked and rushed out, but their stepbrother was already gone. A son took his old father to a restaurant on his birthday for an evening dinner. The father, being very old and weak, dropped food on his shirt and trousers while eating. The people in the restaurant watched him with disgust, but his son remained calm. After finishing his meal, the son quietly took his father to the washroom, wiped the food off his clothes, removed the stains, and combed his hair. When they came out, the entire restaurant watched them with silent disapproval, unable to understand how someone could embarrass themselves publicly like that. The son then took out his credit card, settled the bill, and started walking out with his father, holding his hand. At that moment, an old man among the onlookers called out to the son and asked, "Don't you think you left something behind?" The son replied, "No, sir, I haven't." The old man responded, "Yes, you have. You left a lesson for every son and hope for every father." Before he died, the father said to his 2 sons, "One of you will get this house." They were shocked, and the older brother screamed, "I will get this house." The younger brother replied, "No, I should get the house." They started fighting each other, and the father started laughing. "You are fighting for this small house. Leave it. Come with me," the father said. He took them to his childhood home. "I used to live here with my brothers," he said, tears filling his eyes. "Are you okay?" asked his sons. "Many years ago, my father told me and my brother that one of us would get this house. At that time, I thought I won, but I lost. I put poison in my brother's food," he confessed with tears. The sons were confused and asked, "You did what?" The father replied, "I won the house, but I lost my brother forever. Learn from my mistakes and love each other." A father and his daughter were playing in the park. His young daughter saw an apple cart and asked her father to buy her an apple. Her father didn't bring much money with him, but it was enough to purchase 2 apples. His daughter held 1 apple in each of her hands. Then the father asked her if she could share 1 apple with him. Hearing this, his daughter quickly took a bite from both apples. The father was surprised and wondered what mistake he had made in raising his daughter that she would act in such a greedy way. His mind was lost in thought, questioning if he was perhaps thinking too much. He considered that his daughter might be too young to understand the concept of sharing and giving. His smile disappeared. His daughter, holding an apple, then said, "Father, have this one. This one is much sweeter." Her father was speechless. He felt bad for reaching a judgment so quickly, but his smile returned now that he understood why his daughter had quickly taken a bite from each apple. Don't judge anything too quickly. Always take time to understand things better. A woman was waiting at an airport one night with several long hours before her flight. She bought a bag of cookies and found a place to sit, engrossed in her book. She noticed that the man sitting beside her grabbed a cookie from the bag in between them. She thought to herself, "If I weren't so nice, I would blacken his eye." With each cookie she took, he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, "Oh, brother, this guy has some nerve, and he's also rude." She sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, boarding the plane and sinking into her seat. As she reached into her baggage, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies right in front of her eyes. "If mine are here," she moaned in despair, "the others were his." And he tried to share. Too late to apologize. She realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. Before you get angry, think about it. Maybe you are the one who is wrong.
A poor couple who lived in a small village near London had only one son. They gave him the best education, and their son eventually graduated as an engineer in a nearby city. He got married to a rich girl. Initially, they lived with his parents in the village. Soon, the wife grew tired of village life and persuaded her husband to move to the city, leaving his old parents behind. As time passed, the husband saw an advertisement in the newspaper about a vacancy in Dubai. He was successful and lived in Dubai for years with his wife. He used to send money regularly to his parents. Eventually, with time, he stopped and forgot his parents ever existed. Every year, he prayed to God. One day, he related his story to a wise old man who advised him to go back to visit his parents. The man flew to London and reached the boundary of the village. Everything had changed. He could not find his house. He asked an old woman about the whereabouts of his parents. The old woman directed him to a house and said, "In this house lives an old blind lady who lost her husband a few months ago. She has a son who migrated to Dubai years back and never came back again. What an ungrateful son." The son entered the home and found his mother on the bed. He tiptoed so as not to wake her up. He heard his mother whispering or mumbling something. He got closer to hear her voice. This is what the mother was saying. "God, I am now very old and blind. My husband just died. There is no one to lower me into my grave when I die. So please send my son to fulfill my last wish." Her son was in tears, hugged his mother, and told her he was sorry, but it was already too late. A human body can bear only 45 Dell units of pain, but at the time of giving birth, a mother feels up to 57 Dell units of pain. This is similar to 20 bones getting fractured all at the same time. Love your mother with every resource in your life, even more than your husband or wife. Love your parents.
Stay blessed.